When I was little, I'd say about 8 or so, I badly wanted a Furby. My parents tried and tried to get their hands on one so I could be greeted by a talkative toy under the Christmas tree. But at the time they were so popular, getting one at all would have been quite the feat. Of course, like many other parents in their release year of Furbies, they had no luck. I was a little disappointed at Christmas, but even though I was just a kid, I was aware of supply and demand. During Christmas break, a couple of my friends came over, and I was envious of both of them. They both had Furbies. I frowned at some as I watched the two other girls laugh while their Furbies communicated and played together. Jessica got a spotted gray one with a white stomach and a pink mohawk. Amanda's was pure white one with blue eyes, just like the one I wanted. I pouted but did my best to be happy for them. After a while, they went back home, and my parents could clearly tell how upset I was. January came and went, and even for my birthday, there was no Furby to be found. I did the usual. I pouted and sulked like the little brat I was, and settled for brushing the manes and tails of my little pony dolls I had. I could watch cartoons and fussily flip the channels every time a Furby commercial came on. Eventually, my mom got a phone call and ended up crying her eyes out, like something awful has happened. Of course, curious and bored with my dolls, I got up to see what was wrong. "Mommy, what happened?" She hugged me tight. "Your cousin Jennifer," she began stammering, only to sob loudly. Jennifer was much older than me. She was 16 at the time. "She won't be there when we go see Aunt Becky." "Why?" "She's in heaven now, sweetie." I knew what that meant. I didn't know Jennifer so well, but when I did see her, she was always very nice to me. Even though I didn't like the music she listened to very much. The men always seemed angry or sad, but the tastes changed as I got older. Simply put, she was really depressed and always wore black. I didn't know at the time, but that was what older people referred to as goth. I just knew that my aunt would be very upset. This would mean we would have to go see her. Becky was very distraught when we showed up, and my mom didn't think I should come along. But I begged and pleaded, hoping I can find a way to cheer my aunt up. It would be strange without Jennifer there, but my mother decided that attending her funeral may be a good way to learn about coping with death. The funeral was an open casket. Jennifer looked almost like she was peacefully sleeping. I cried simply because I knew she wouldn't wake up. She wouldn't play patty cake with me anymore. She wouldn't tell me scary stories, and she wouldn't tell me cool things about spiders. As the casket was finally lowered into the ground, I quietly murmured, "Good night, Jenny." After the funeral, I went to her room. The empty pill bottle, there was no label, so I don't know what that was still on the floor. I didn't know what it meant at the time, but my mom and her sister were discussing what to find during the autopsy. She overdosed on Valium and consumed alcohol, which killed her. A few things were already taken out of her room. Her journal contained entries about how she wanted to die and how she hated herself. Nobody ever knew she felt that way. I especially didn't. It made me sad. She always seems so happy when I visit. I heard both Becky and my mother weeping. They came into Jennifer's room and glanced around. Becky insisted that all of her posters needed to be taken down and whatnot. She wanted to clear the room of all of her old things. My mother explained to me later that sometimes when someone dies, the people who love them don't want to see what that person had, because it would upset them. I just thought Becky really hated Marilyn Manson and Nirvana. After a while, I ended up collecting a pile of things that Becky wanted to throw out. I had a stack of CDs full of music that terrified most kids my age, and a few posters that went with them. Becky fussed at me, wondering why I wanted so much scary things. My answer was simple. Jenny liked them, and I liked Jenny, so I liked them too. My mother just shook her head, looking at Becky. She was basically telling her to not even try it. She knew how stubborn I was, but after collecting the stack of things, I stared at the bookshelf across the room. I saw a Furby there. It might not have been the color I wanted, but it was still a Furby. It was pure black, but I would expect something like that from Jenny. "Aunt Becky, Can I have the Furby too? She only nodded, biting her lip to fight off some tears. She took from the shelf and handed it to me. It was a long ride back home, but I was playing with Jenny's old Furby. I felt so fine. It was sitting neatly on top of the manual, speaking its silly language. I would respond to it in English, and my mother seemed relieved that she didn't have to buy me one. But at the same time, distraught by my cousin's death, she talked to Becky a lot after that. I would often read to the Furby, and I started listening to the music that Jennifer left behind. My friends didn't like it, so I didn't play it when they were around. They brought their Furbies over to meet mine, only to be shocked what happened. The Furby's green eyes stared blankly into the blue eyes of Amanda's white one. Its mechanical voice uttered something that startled us. "Me no like you." Amanda looked a little unnerved. She scooped her Furby up in her arms and gave me a strange look. "I didn't teach that, I swear." I told them how I got it, and Jessica, the most superstitious of us, said that it was probably haunted or cursed. I told her not to be silly. We tried to make it interact with hers, but my Furby only closed its eyes and fell asleep, despite the others' friendly attempts to sing and whatnot. I sighed and shook my head. I guess I need to reset it or something. The other girls nodded. Taking a pen, I pressed a button on the underside of it. After opening its eyes, it said something I didn't think was normal. "Me so cold." I stared into the green eyes. They reminded me of Jennifer's. That night, my friends and I had a sleepover. We all had our Furbies, but mine decided to be antisocial and sleep the whole time. We watched movies and talked about the things that normal little girls would talk about. We laughed and told scary stories and even picked on Amanda for having a crush on this boy named Kevin. They picked on me for one boy I really didn't like, but it was obvious he liked me. I just made gagging motions, resulting in laughter. After we slept, we had breakfast together and they went home. Afterwards, my Furby woke up and I tried to feed it by pressing its tongue. "Me no hungry." I frowned. I rubbed the back of its mimic petting, responded with boo, which meant no. I was annoyed again. I prodded its belly in an attempt to tickle it. It let out a sound that sounded like a bore's sigh. This was also irritating. No play. I didn't expect this at all. This wasn't how my friend's Furbies acted. It just sat there with its eyes wide open, staring and doing nothing aside from the occasional yawn or sigh. When talking to my mother about it, she explained that's how Jennifer acted towards Becky during her last days. It went to sleep after a while. The next day I woke up and it responded, "Let me sleep." It fell asleep as usual, but this time it opened its eyes afterwards, though judging by its silence it wasn't awake. I told my mom because it started to creep me out, and she gave me a strange look. "What's wrong, Mama?" Those were Jennifer's last words. After that, we removed the batteries from the Furby. When I was looking around for it to sell on eBay due to collectors out there, I couldn't find it. Good riddance, I say. To this day, the thought it's open, lifeless, greenless eyes still disturbs me. It witnessed my cousin's death, and sometimes I wonder if her soul's trapped inside. She had a disturbed side that I never knew, and all of that bad in her could have been implanted in the toy that rested so innocently on her bookshelf.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.